Hello and welcome to this Bible course on understanding the Bible. I'm so excited that you made it to be in this class. And this is the first class, and basically, I just want to do a general introduction to what we are going to be covering in this course. But more importantly, I also want to be able to help you see why this is going to be very important for you. So, why do we really need to pay attention to understanding the Bible as adequately as possible? Perhaps I should begin with a story. Well, I can't tell, maybe it's a very interesting story. I'll let you be the judge of that. But you see, there is this story of a Chinese billionaire who was in the United States of America with the wife. He was in a very big meeting where he was trying to close a deal. And the wife was outside, the wife was shopping, and the wife was trying to buy a ring. Now, the wife saw a very beautiful ring, and this ring was going for 350,000 US dollars. So she sent a text message to the husband to say, "Look at this beautiful ring. I think this is what we need. Do I have your permission to buy it? It's just 350,000 USD." And the husband saw the message. He was in the middle of a meeting. Apparently, he was a very shrewd businessman who became furious, and he felt this is a lot of money to spend on a ring. So he tried to send a message to the wife immediately. And the message he intended to send was, "No, this price is too much." He wanted to say, "No, comma, price is too much." So instead, he made a mistake. He typed and then he forgot the comma. So remember how that is going to read: "No, price too much." Okay? Which the wife saw and interpreted as no price is too much. Simple comma that is missing changed the entire context of the conversation. The wife went ahead, bought the ring. I'll leave the rest of the story to your imagination, what probably transpired after. But you see, that crisis could have been avoided by just either properly communicating or writing properly or interpreting the context properly. The point is, simple omissions can cause big problem. Like this one, where Jesus went into the synagogue and drove out all those who bought and sold in the temple, and overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those who sold doves. And he said to them, "It is written, my Father's house shall be called the house of prayer, but you have made it into a den of thieves." Question again. Do you notice anything different there? Of course, it's very easy. A lot of people notice it a lot of times and say, "Well, you did say synagogue and temple." But the problem is, most of the time, people identify this use and they think that these are synonymous usage. But in the real sense, a synagogue and a temple are two different things. So different that if you use them interchangeably, you can literally alter the entire storyline and context of the meaning of the conversation in a Bible. Let me guess. You didn't know that before now, do you? All right, now you know. The synagogue and the temple are two different things. The synagogue is an invention that came later out of the slavery in Babylon, when the people returned from slavery and they built this local system where they have almost like a community theology school where they can teach people. The temple, however, is only one. There is only one temple. There are so many synagogues in every locality, but there is only one temple. And that one temple is in Jerusalem. Now it begins to make sense to you why people had to travel every year to Jerusalem to come and worship at specific time of certain feast. Now it makes sense to you when the Bible was talking about Jesus getting missing in the crowd during the travel and all of that. When you understand that simple context, it changes everything. And I'm saying all of this to say that it's so amazing how a simple alteration or misinterpretation of simple things can mess up the entire thing. So, what we want to do in this course is to help you understand how to properly understand the Bible, interpret the Bible, and apply it to your life. Now, we're going to do that by covering about four things. Number one is what I call the unification of the Bible storyline. What is the unification of the Bible storyline? It simply means that when you read the Bible and it looks as though there are so many stories. In fact, in some cases, you see different stories in every chapter. In some books, you see different stories in one book. In some books, it's just one story throughout the book. But you find different stories. And at some point, you begin to wonder, how is all of this related to each other? Now, one of the biggest mistakes that people can make at that point is to say, you know what, let's not try to tie all this together. Let's just take it as a moral instruction and just take the learning. Now, that's good. But what if I told you that all of these books put together are telling a single story, even though it appears as though they are telling so many disparate independent stories? Now, the first part of this lesson is going to help you to see the entire 66 book of the Bible as just one book telling one story. Number two is that we're going to be looking at the structural unity of the Bible. We're going to be looking at how each of the books connect to each other. What is this set of books trying to do, and what are these set of books trying to do, and how are those functions connected? What is the goal, and how are those goals connected? That's the second thing we're going to be doing under structural unity. We are going to be breaking that down all the way from the Old Testament into the New Testament. And guess what? There's a little short period in between that is supposed to be about 400 years of silence between the Old Testament and the New Testament. Oh, yeah. We're going to be digging into whatever it is that happened within those 400 years as well. The third thing we're going to be doing is what I call the Bible interpretation principles. There are certain principles. Look, the Bible is a literature, is a book. It is the word of God, but it is a book, however. It's a book of an event that happened at a time in history, in a particular cultural context, using certain languages, most of which don't even exist anymore. But there are, you see, this situation doesn't just apply to Bible alone. There are a lot of medieval texts too that fall into this category. And there are principles for interpreting, making sense of the intent of the author, or of the author, traveling back in time to make a sense of what was exactly going on in the mind of the writers. These principles include principles like definition, usage, context, historical background, precedence, unity, inference, and so many more. We are going to be looking at how these principles work in practical terms. And we're going to be looking at popular passages that we oftentimes misinterpret. And we're going to subject them to the test of those textual interpretation principles. And then we'll be able to know exactly what is the correct context of those conversations. Finally, we're going to be looking at the role of application. It's not just enough for us to be able to interpret the Bible and have so much knowledge. The whole idea is not for our head to blow up with so many wisdom and knowledge. The idea is that our walk with God can be improved. So we're going to be looking at how exactly do we move from this interpretation to application into our life. It is my pleasure to introduce you to this course again, Understanding the Bible. And I really hope that you will have a wonderful time studying it, just as I had a wonderful time preparing it. I look forward to seeing you in our very first class where we will get this whole flow started. See you.